Would I shock any of you if I told you that Tim Kurkjian used to rabidly run a pickup basketball game that Cal Ripken Jr. played in, and that in general, Tim Kurkjian knows about very little, very, very little, but he knows baseball, and I don't know that he knows that much less about basketball, because I dare say that, what are you doing?
It's a double negative from hell that you just did. You don't know that he doesn't know that much less about it.
Okay, so forgive me. I think that Tim cares about basketball and knows about basketball in many of the same ways that he does about baseball. Tim, do I have that wrong?
No, you have it right. And I remember the Don Nelson play very vividly. Keith Erickson tipped that ball away from John Havlicek, and Don Nelson shot it from the free throw line.
That's right.
And I'll never forget how high that ball went. And then it went straight through for an enormous bucket in a playoff game. But Halliburton's, as we know, went, I think it's 7.23 feet in the air. I have never seen a ball go to the shot clock above the backboard like that. And Brian Maggott, who's a friend of mine, one of the great shooters ever, told me he's never seen anything like that. And he still shoots every day. And he's still one of the greatest shooters ever. And he said, I went out the next day, he said, and I shot that shot, trying to recreate that shot for 30 minutes and never even come close. He said, I promise you, if I shoot that shot every day for an hour until I'm 90, I will never be able to recreate that shot. That's how crazy that was.
Hold on. So, Tim, here's the music. Finally, let me introduce you, America, to one of my math friends. Tim, thank you, because they were making fun of me, because I'm like, do you guys realize how improbable that shot was? Yeah, Dan, who cares?
Well,
math,
you called it math friends.
No, but this is...
That's the part we jumped on.
My point is, now backtrack. Now that it's no longer cool to mock the math guy.
But it's not math, though. Like, to me, it comes down to shooting form, right? He has incredible backspin on his shot, and so the reason you do that is to give the ball a chance to not just ricochet hard off the rim, but if it goes up, it'll have a chance to drop in. Now, it went up unusually high, but that doesn't make it a lucky shot, which is kind of what your whole premise is that it was a lucky shot, and it's not a lucky shot. It's a shooter's roll.
I mean, you're bearing the lead here. I don't want to live in a country in which some guy can just say, I texted my math friends, and think that he can just move on with this show without guys saying, wait a second, math friends, you nerd. Preach! That's America, Jack.
That is America.
This is one of my math friends. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something this month with Tim Kurkjian and my math friends. We're gonna do a baseball game. I'm gonna show you that me and my math friends can throw a party, even though you guys are afraid of math and you like to make fun of math. Tim Kurkjian's genuinely excited about sports surprising him all the time, and what he's telling you in terms of improbabilities, the Halliburton shot's not being covered correctly. Like it's as a historic shot, it will never happen again. It's never happened before. It'll never happen again. It'll never happen at the end of a game.
This is why we need sports science.
You're using Kurkjian wrong.
Yeah.
All right? I'll tell you how to use Kurkjian. I text Kurkjian last week. Who's the slowest position player in history?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's how you use a Tim Kurkjian, Dan.
Tim?
I think I said it was Ron Hasse.
He did. And then I pitched.
Caught a bunch of no-hitters and was a good catcher, and he had some bad knees, so he was slow. And Chris, you came up with Benji Molina, right?
Yes, Benji Molina. Good call by me. Great shout by me.
And Benji Molina, who hit for the cycle once. Wow. How about that?
Wow.
So Barry Bonds, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and Babe Ruth never hit for the cycle. But Benji Molina did.
I want to see that triple.
It's so good. It's so good. Sports are so good. And you're right, Dan. I'm still amazed by the probabilities and the possibilities when you watch a game. And that shot I've never seen before. And you're right. I don't think we'll ever see that again.
I will acknowledge that I have not used Tim Kurkjian, right? So, Tim Kurkjian, does Pablo Sandoval
He's already laughing. You haven't said anything other than the name.
No, but Dan, this is why I'm laughing. I swear to God, yesterday I went to the Safeway and this guy comes up to me. I don't even know him. And he says, "What's your favorite looks like on the Le Batard game?" I don't even know who he is. So I tell him, well, it's Jeff Van Gundy, who looks like the coroner who does an autopsy while he's eating a ham sandwich. And then this guy says to me, my favorite, he said, is Stan Van Gundy looks like the generic face on a pizza box. Show. I came on right after him. This is unbelievable. What a juxtaposition. Me next to Stan Van Gundy after a guy in the frozen food aisle asked me a question about the Van Gundy brothers.
That's less improbable than the Halliburton shot.
Yeah.
Does Pablo Sandoval look like the bear-shaped bottle of honey?
Does homers in a World Series game.
That's right.
God.
That's right. Does Aaron Judge look like the most athletic member of the Addams family?
Well,
Shoot. That's crazy.
I'll call him Lurch.
You rang. Oh, my God.
Wow. That is for the Sueys. Limited fake Lurch from the Addams family by Tim Kurkjian. Tim, real quick, because I want to tell the audience this again. He does a podcast with his son, Is This a Great Game or What? His son, Jeff, and I will tell you that I am a sucker for the father-son stuff. Greg Cody does it very well with his son, Chris and Yeti, and Jeff and Tim do it well so that people can see how much range his dad actually has or how little, as the case may be, because Jeff has a funny relationship with his dad. But when you think of projects you've done in your life, Tim, is there a second place to this one? Like, I would imagine being able to do this at this point in your life, this podcast, that it's the most meaningful work you can do.
Yeah, I used to host a show on baseball called the Seamhead edition of Baseball Tonight, which ran every Sunday. I did that for 4 years, and that was really cool. But this is by far the best thing that I've ever done and the most satisfying thing that I've ever done, because I'm doing it with my son, and he knows everything that I don't know, which is everything other than baseball, basketball, and sitcom from the 60s, because I don't know anything else. And he's a wizard with technology, and he's got a great sense of humor. We had Steve Russian on the other day, and we laughed for 45 minutes. It was hilarious. So, yes, this is the best thing I've ever done, and we now do it 3 days a week, so we're just trying to keep it up.
Does Paul Feinbaum look like the maitre d' at a fancy restaurant?
Yes.
Isn't he the personification of the NCAA rule book?
Yes, he is. He is also that. That is correct.
I love his corrections.
Does Joe Girardi look like he has a favorite chair in the husband sitting area outside of Dillard's?
I can see it.
Look at that laugh right there.
Yes, it is. Does Scott Hansen look like an orthodontist? Does Adam Silver?
It's the playoffs, Dan. You can't use these during the NBA playoffs.
Does Adam Silver look like the 4-star general in a post-apocalyptic movie faced with the daunting reality of an alien invasion and the likely end of humanity as we know it, who says, staring off into the distance, "They're already here. We're the aliens now." Tim, the most excited you are about a trend this season in baseball. I'm always complimenting you at how you evolve with the game. So Javi Baez in center field, first basemen's, leadoff men hitting home run. You keep seeing how it is. The game changes, and you appreciate it, right? You appreciate how the game is being distorted so that what Aaron Judge is doing right now is something that you can look at and be like, this is the best that baseball can possibly be played.
Right. Well, speaking of strikeouts and leadoff guys, last night Lawrence Butler struck out 4 times in a game for the A's, hitting leadoff. So that's 16 times this season that a leadoff hitter has struck out 4 or more times in a game. Again, Dan, I bring this up because when I grew up, the leadoff guy was a pixie little second baseman shortstop who could run a little bit, put the ball in play, and rarely struck out. And now, no season before June has ever had 16 guys strike out 4 or more times out of the leadoff spot. Just another reminder how much the game is evolving, that we just put our biggest and best players, whether it's Kyle Schwarber, Shohei Ohtani, in the leadoff spot because they can get up more times. If they strike out 4 times in a game, it's not a big deal. So, yeah, that's just another thing that is changing in the game. But you mentioned Aaron Judge, Dan. I got asked the other day if Aaron Judge is going to hit 400 this year. The answer is a resounding no, nothing against him. It's just this is the hardest hitting environment that I've ever seen, and no one will ever hit 400 facing the stuff that they face every day. The fact that he is that close to 400 and we're almost to June and he's 6'7", 282, it's a miracle. And it just shows you how much he has evolved as a hitter, and that he used to swing and miss all the time. He used to strike out all the time, chased out of the strike zone all the time. Doesn't do that much very often anymore. And that's why he is spectacularly good almost every night.
This is a leading question, okay? But what is the best baseball movie made, Tim? Do you have a ranking on this? Because I imagine it's Field of Dreams for you. Is it something else?
No, it's Field of Dreams, and no doubt. My dad was the most important part of my life in every way. My dad was a really good player. My dad taught me and my brothers how to play the game, gave us a feel for the game, and that movie's all about a father and a son. So, yes, it is my favorite movie. It always will be my favorite movie.
The movie Major League and Major League 2, do you have any opinion on either one of those? The second.
I like that. I like that Charlie Sheen was able to throw a baseball athletically. I was not expecting that. And he did, playing the part of Rick Vaughn, the pitcher in Major League. And today I'm going to the airport as soon as I'm done here to pick up my friend Rick Vaughn, who used to be the PR director of the Rays and the Orioles.
Yeah, Rick Vaughn, big redhead.
And Rick Vaughn threw really hard in his day, really hard.
Okay, but this is the reason I asked you the question, Tim, is because in Major League 2, Wild Thing Rick Vaughn, at the end of the movie, the way that it finishes is, holy, he throws so hard. He struck out Parkman. He did it with fastballs of 99, 101, and 102. And my question is, give me a number of pitchers in the big leagues who could do this tonight.
There are probably a handful that could throw 3 straight pitches, 99, 101, 102, maybe a handful, but that's 3 pitches in a row. That's hard to do. Maybe a couple more, maybe one more than that could throw as hard as 102.
My general point is just what was the ending of that particular movie and series comes out of the A's bullpen now and does that very easily 6 times in the ninth.
Right. And Mason Miller is tremendous. And by the way, that guy got sick a couple of years ago, and he lost weight down to like 155 pounds. I weighed 140 this morning, by the way. He weighed 155 because of the sickness. Then he gained it all back, and now he throws over 100 miles an hour again. And Dan, one more time, if anyone out there actually thinks they could put a ball in play against a major league pitcher today, you've got to be kidding me. And 102 is an incomprehensible rate of speed. Chris, sit down. You have 0 chance. Stop it. And none of you guys would get a bunt down against Garrett Cole or anybody else in it. No, left-handed, right-handed, no chance. Chris, you have a good swing, I can tell, but 102 is something that you have never seen, nor has anybody else in that room.
Swing.
What if I time it for a couple of pitches?
No, Mike, he's going to buzz the tower with the first pitch. He's going to scare the life out of you with the first pitch. Oh. And then you and everyone else in that room, Chris included, is going to be afraid to get back in there after he throws it at your face with the first pitch.
What if I step out of the batter's box, point my bat to him, and say, you try that one more time, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah, pal. I asked Dusty Baker once, he asked me about facing Bob Gibson. So he went to Hank Aaron and said, I'm facing Bob Gibson tonight. What should I think about? And Hank Aaron said, whatever you do, don't look at him. Whatever you do, don't talk to him. And if he knocks you down, do not charge the mound because he will beat your ass. The same thing would happen to you, Mike. You point a bat at a major league pitcher, he's going to kick your ass no matter what. Sorry. No matter how big, strong, and athletic you are.
All right, Garrett Cole. You try that one more time, pal. All right, you try that one more time.
That's
how that's.
Are gonna buzz the tower.
Oh, I love it so much.
That's such a cool,
and coming from Kurkjian, like he's some sort of 5-star general, buzz the tower.
Oh my God!
But what he's saying though, the lunacy of what he says is that it is common in that sport to like buzz the tower when what you're saying is throw that sphere 102 miles an hour at someone's face. You guys think you'd be scared of that? Yes, of course. You'd also be scared of something right down the middle.
Yeah. No, and my first at bat in Glades Corey League, I got hit with a pitch. I did not swing the bat for the remainder of the season.
Chris Cody,
good on-base percentage, though.
Tim, I'm not kidding you when I say if I put Chris Cody at right now in a batter's box against 102, would he see anything other than a black dot?
No, and he would have zero chance, obviously, of getting hit or putting it in play.
Set it up.
Zero chance of making contact. And I must say, speaking of, the proudest moment I've ever had on this show was when Dan asked me if you would name a rock band, which you would be in, and name it after a baseball term. I said Buzz the Tower. Oh, what a great name for a rock band. And that was because Dan asked me a stupid question, as he always does, and I came up with a stupid answer.
That's a cool answer. Thank you, Seattle. We are Buzz the Tower.
Yeah. Tim, give me 20 pitches. I'll make contact. I'm not saying I'm getting a hit. There will be contact with the bat on one of those. You're
20 discounting
pitches.
That we're on the on deck circle. We're timing that pitch. We're timing it.
Chris, Mike, if it's a competition and the pitcher loses, Jacob deGrom loses, if you put it in play or make contact, he's not going to lose. He's going to make sure that you don't make contact, even if he has to throw one up and in. Zero chance, Chris. Sorry.
I can achieve all things through Christ.
Tim, I got a question for you. Football players are renowned. They watch a ton of film. They're constantly consuming film. Yeah, I would say that you can't be a pro football player if you're not watching film, right? Basketball players, there are some who watch a lot of film, but there are some who are just kind of like off the feel of, especially if guys are vets. Like I know how guys are going to play, and I can adjust and figure it out. For baseball players, do they typically all watch a ton of film like the football players, or are there guys that just go out there and say, I've faced this pitcher enough times, I know what I'm doing?
Yeah, most players look at their iPad or some sort of video device after most at-bats just to see what it looked like. And it bothers me, it worries me a little bit that a young pitcher was asked a couple years ago by his pitching coach, after the young pitcher had just thrown a bullpen, how did your bullpen go? And the pitcher said, I don't know, I'll have to look at my iPad. So he couldn't even tell you how he threw for 10 minutes in the bullpen until he looked at his iPad and went over it. Same pitcher was asked, all right, you're facing Judge, base loaded, 2 outs, 8th inning, 2-2 count, what pitch are you throwing? And he said, whatever my iPad tells me to throw. And that's my worrisome part, is that we've stopped watching the games to some degree, and we are watching our iPads and our at-bats and our bullpens instead of actually watching the game.
A couple of things here, Tim. I want to break some news for you, and in exchange for that, I want you to do a promo for Jeremy Tachet's new show, Buzz the Tower, instead of what he's got coming on later in the show. It's presently called Pitch Clock or some other thing, or Pitch Count.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Or something else, but I'd like to call it Buzz the Tower, sponsor or executive produced by Tim Kurkjian. If he breaks some news here that you did not know about baseball, that we surprise you with, will you cut a promo for Jeremy Tachet's new baseball show, Buzz the Tower?
Yes, I think I've made it clear. I will do just about anything on this show.
Okay, let's see.
Very unlike me, but if Dan asks me, I'll do it.
All right, so that's a deal. That's the bet. Let's see if we can surprise Tim Kurkjian. It's rare to surprise him, anything baseball related.
And you're asking me to be able to accomplish this. Okay, so Here's what I would say. Tim, in the first inning, Aaron Judge was intentionally walked. It's the first time since who, in what season, that a Yankee was intentionally walked in the first inning.
All right, forgive me here, Tim. You can think about that for a moment if you like, if you need some filibustering. Jeremy, I was under the confusion that we actually had a band that had Buzzed the Tower already as its name.
Oh, the front man of that band, Dan, is Bronson Arroyo. With the lead guitarist of Bernie Williams and playing bass, of course, Barry Zito.
Did you know that Buzz the Tower already existed and that these three baseball players made up Buzz the Tower, the rock band?
I did not, but you asked me that question about 10 years ago, so it's possible I came up with the name of the band before they formed the band. Yeah. But no, I did not know that, and I'm sorry. As for the intentional walks, I'm going to filibuster. Judge was walked intentionally in the first 2 innings yesterday. Think about that for a second. That's happened 5 other times in the last 30 years, twice to Barry Bonds, once to Freddie Freeman, once to Albert Pujols, and once to Jose Ramirez. But to get walked twice intentionally in the first 2 innings is very unusual, and I don't know the last Yankee to do this, so you have indeed stumped me. But my guess is it was Aaron Judge some other time, but I don't know.
The answer is on June 17th, 2012. Robinson Cano is the last Yankee who was walked intentionally in the first inning.
You math guys know how to party.
Look how mad Tim is at himself.
That's not fair. None of that is fair.
I'm not. Well, by the way, Roger Maris was not intentionally walked one time in 1961 when he hit 61 home runs. And then the next season, again, just to show you how the games work, he got intentionally walked 4 times in one game, having not been intentionally walked once in the year before.
This is what breaks out at these parties. It's why I love it. When he and Mike Schur get together, it's like watching 9-year-olds trade baseball cards.
That's
Tim,
a party to you?
It is a party. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you what a party it is at some point. I'm going to show you. Buzz the Tower. Go ahead as you get out of here, Tim. Just buzz the tower. Jeremy Tachey's new show is endorsed by Tim Kurkjian. You owe us this because we stumped you. Go ahead and do the endorsement. In the second hour of today's show, we have a new show, Jeremy Tachey, Buzz the Tower.
Right. Jeremy Tachey has a new show. It's called Buzz the Tower. I am the director and the producer of the show. Please watch. It'll be well worth it.
It's really good.
Promo cut.
I don't know why you had to yell at us.
Yeah.
Tim, thank you. It's always nice seeing you. It was good seeing you again. It's always lovely when you stop by.
Well, thanks for having me, fellas. I'll see you.